I think we need to address an issue. Apparently, wrestlers just walk down corridors at Raw and a camera person will find them and just shoot whatever they're doing. Like we saw CM Punk and he was having a coffee and I was like, would you give the man a break? The Pure Fusion Collective, whatever they're called, are also shown. It's been a week. I'm still not over that name. I mean, it sounds like the grand plan of Magneto. Also, hello my friends and welcome to Ups and Downs, the only wrestling review show you need if you like a bald guy who enjoys wrestling but doesn't take it very seriously or just enjoys it for what it is. Sound good? Also, do not forget it is AEW All In weekend and What Culture has a show way before All In itself on the Sunday. There are a few tickets remaining, link in the description below. So maybe I'll see you then, but for now, let's up those downs. Randy Orton's music then hit to kick off Raw properly. This guy has just totally snuck himself onto the show. Orton is also promising to become a 15-time world champion after he defeats Gunther, which would be very impressive. And also, he doesn't really care for the ring general anymore, because last week, Gunther went and made it personal. He did. That's why he decided to hit Gunther with the RKO, and Gunther must have been backstage like, man, that really annoyed me, so I'm going to talk to him. And he said to Randall Keith Orton, listen, you should be celebrating that RKO, because it's the only thing you're ever going to celebrate again. You ain't beating me. The crowd then charted USA, so we are living in 1984, and Gunther just went, you only got 3 brain cells. When he said to Randy, you're going to fly home from Berlin a bloody mess. Now, I kind of thought about putting this on the crying counter, but I kind of feel like he was tippy-tapping the line here. It's still a really flubbed up thing to say. Now, Orton fired back saying, actually, you've got it completely wrong, because you're going to be in pain on the flight back from Berlin, because you're going to have my foot up your ass. I was like, right, okay. Does he mean he's going to stick his foot up his ass, and it will be the residual pain that he will be remembering, or is he actually going to put his foot up his ass and it's going to be stuck there, so they have to fly back together? Something to think about. Then turned out that General Akbar was in control of this segment because Ludwig Kaiser ran in as it was a trap, and even though Randy was able to fight them off for a little bit, you know the deal with wrestling maths, and he was down 2-1. They also went after his leg and gave him a big old chop block, so you know what is going to happen. We're going to get to this pay-per-view premium live event, and old Randy is going to be limping. He's also a great seller too, so I bet we start thinking it's legit. And really, when it comes to Randy Orton and Gunther, they just feel like proper main event stars, and given that it is going to be in Germany, which is almost but kind of not the hometown of the world champion, it just rocks. I am just ready, and I am totally giving it an up. I mean, they didn't really do anything here, but I'm still plugged in. I mean, really it comes down to the fact that when you have characters this over, it's super easy, barely an inconvenience. When we cut to Jackie Redmond and she was like, hey, Sheamus, how do you feel about life? Now he's also mad at Pete Dunne because, of course, he's got a broken hand after Pete attacked him last week. So now he's going to go to the ring. He's going to beat up Peter Dunne. We also learned that Orton wanted to face Kaiser later, so that's going to be our main event. When we got to Sheamus versus Pete Dunne, let's just talk about it now. Halfway through this, Michael Cohen had, during that time, Sheamus beat Daniel Bryan in 18 seconds at WrestleMania. And listen, maybe this was just something, or maybe it was WWE being a little bit petty. I love all this, and I want more pettiness from each side, so give me some heavy petting. Wait, what? In terms of Sheamus versus Dunne as well, I don't think we've ever seen it before. And also, Sheamus got the win here. So I just want to say this. Sheamus is not going to be around for that much longer, I would imagine, because he has a ton of injuries and he's just getting on in years. That's how life works. So we need to start appreciating him more, because he is so damn good, and I don't think he ever gets his flowers. So I'm going to go to the garden, I'm going to pick a rose, and I'm going to give it to Sheamus. Probably going to slap me right in the face. Dunne also absolutely rules. These two guys just kick the crap out of each other. And of course, Pete focused on Sheamus's hand because it is broken, so it's flashing like an end-of-level bust. During Sheamus's comeback too, he also basically said to Pete, are you butch or are you bitch? So bring it down. There is the bitch counter, and it goes up by 1. And as a small spoiler, we ain't done with this thing, because on this evening, everybody wanted to say bitch. Dunne didn't like that though, so he whooped Sheamus for a while, and he did the beats when Sheamus came back with his own beats. When Pete Dunne cut him off one more time, and he went for this moonsault, and Sheamus just kneed him right in the face. And I was like, that's it, he's dead. Amazingly, Pete was still able to hit this awesome bomb of power, and he actually trapped Sheamus's hand into the turnbuckle so he could inflict more damage, and I was melting down during that. I was like, hey, Pete, you can't do that to Tina. She doesn't want it on her conscience. It really didn't make a difference though, because Sheamus just ripped his arm away as he murdered Pete Dunne with the bro kick. And he got the 1-2 threat. Now Sheamus was all bruised and battered after this, so we saw Pete going, ha ha ha, I definitely took a piece of you. So I guess we can do something here again later, and Ludwig Kaiser's probably going to get involved too. But either way, I'm giving it up. It was a really good hard-hitting match. And the New Day got deep. Now, it kind of made me laugh because they were dressed like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but were having a serious conversation. That's when I realized, yep, this is my dream wrestling. But Odyssey Jones was getting changed with them when he went to, I don't know, use the bathroom or something, when Kofi Kingston turned to Xavier Woods, and he was like, what is the deal, bro? Ever since we've been hanging out with Odyssey, well, your energy has just been a little bit low. At first he thought it was something to do with Karrion Kross, when Woods was like, no, it's nothing to do with the final testicle, testament. It's this Odyssey Jones guy. I'm sure you had good intentions, Kofi Kingston. I actually think you're trying to replace Big E. That got me right in the tum-tum. I was like, damn. Now, Kingston apologized for this instantly, said he would never try to replace Big E, and it's all about going back in time, because when they first formed as the New Day, everybody laughed at them, and what did they do over the next decade? They became one of the best tag teams ever, even though people were laughing at them. Now, Kofi has seen some people laughing at Odyssey Jones, so he wants to take him under his wing. Now, Xavier kind of understood this when Odyssey returned and he gave everybody a hug, but once again, when you zoomed in on Woods' face, I don't think he appreciated this at all. So even though he's trying to be cool with it, he asserts his feelings like a Jedi, and he's not. I totally related to this, because it's like when somebody calls me Johnny Sins for the 1,272nd time. It's like, you're not original, pal. Would you just drop it? And I'm genuinely still intrigued to see where this is going to go, because I guess we could describe it as a mid-card feud, but I actually think it has some depth to it, and ultimately, I want to know where it does end. Because if we do feud Kofi Kingston versus Xavier Woods, I'm going to fall on the floor, giving it an up. But to be honest, the up is mostly because they were dressed like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We then got this awesome Braun Breaker video package because he is going to become the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. When we cut to Chad Gable, who officially welcomed Maxxine Dupri into American Made. And in terms of here on Ups and Downs, well, we're going to introduce her to Nobody Talks Like That with me, Simon Miller. Poor Maxxine, she was put in a very strange situation, because while she was doing bicep curls, she said, hey, I gave Maxxine a chance, but in the end, she got exactly what was coming to her. Because I'm the real deal, I'm the pit bull, and if Maxxine can't realize she was holding me back, well, that's on her. So look, I can imagine these words being put in the order of that sentence. It's like me getting in someone's face and going, hey, you crossed me. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk over here and leave you alone, because ultimately nobody talks like that. Now, I have no idea where Ivy got this impression from, because Maxxine has just been nice to her, but Chad Gable was super pumped, because now he has a brand new plan, take down the Wyatt Six. Good luck with that. But amazingly, we actually got Maxxine versus Ivy, and I love Maxxine Dupri. I think she's great. The first thing she did is just drop kick Ivy right in the face. When she was on the outside, she totally pulverized her. Now, eventually, Nile tackled her to get back on top, but this is when the lights went out, and I was like, boy, howdy, Ivy, you make a terrible decision. Now, if I was Maxxine Dupri, I'd be livid, because she probably could have won this thing, and we did not get a finish. But, of course, out came the Wyatt Six as this crowd went nuts. And the cool thing about this is that now it was Nikki Cross's time to shine, and she whooped the hell out of Ivy Nile. So I was a big fan of that, and I was afterwards too, because Chad Gable had to get his as well. So Bo Dallas / Uncle Howdy grabbed him, just gave him the best Sister Abigail you've ever seen in your life. I also think we're going to do Chad Gable versus Bo Dallas next week, and I'm so intrigued by this, because so far WWE has got the balance between spooky wookie and normal wrestling completely right. So given what the result is there, well, we could go on to something else. I am giving it an up. I'm a massive fan of everybody involved. We then cut to CM Punk after this, because he does not care about the spooky wookie. Before we did head to the ring though, we got this great video with the Terror Twins. It was just Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest cutting a promo to the camera, like it was 1982. There was nothing wrong with that though, because it was just so damn old school, as they told Dominic and Liv Morgan, we are going to rip your heads off, when later on, we also got the rebuttal from Dirty Dom and Liv. This was also really good. Dirty Dom even challenged Damian Priest to a match later, and he said, let's see if you're mad enough to accept it. I'm sorry, nobody in the history of the world has ever actually been wound up by that. You'd just be like, man, I don't care. Words, they cannot hurt me. Seriously though, in terms of back and forth promos that they did have to set up these teams, you have got to give it an up. And in terms of the Judgment Day and the Terrible Twins, well, they are doing some fine work. When CM Punk was indeed here, he doesn't want any more bears. He was carrying a leather strap, which is a perfectly normal thing to do, when he also said, "Way, well done, Florida Panthers. You just won the Stanley Cup." What a babyface. He then said the fans are responsible for the hot streak that WWE is on right now, when he too got super emotional, because he talked about the fan event he did work at this weekend and how people were coming up to him and saying things like, "Listen man, I had cancer and I really struggled through it, but I found strength in you, CM Punk." See it in his face, he was genuinely moved by this. He also talked about his own friends that are going through such things, and I had water in my seeing devices, when he said the reason he is so happy to be back is because he hasn't seen these fans for 10 years. I was a little bit like, let's just forget all that stuff from 2021. The whole point of this, though, is that he did tie it into these bracelets that the fans keep giving him, and that is why they mean so much to him, because they're coming from this place of love. That's why he's so pissed off with Drew McIntyre. He stole one. This is why McIntyre now isn't just allowed to go elsewhere, because he has made this beef personal. I was like, man, a lot of feuds in WWE right now, super duper personal. It's all good though, because Punk has a gift for McIntyre, which is this leather strap. I was like, wonderful. That's the end of that program. He got him a gift. I was like, oh no, that's not what he meant. He wants a strap match in Berlin. Now that just sounds super duper kinky, and he also described it as a giant bracelet, which I guess is technically true. But like, if you walked into an office with a bracelet, nobody would say anything. If you walked in with a giant leather strap on your arm, people are gonna be like, man, that's Steve. He needs to sort his life out. Punk is also going to whip Drew so bad he regrets ever doing this. When McIntyre did walk out, I guess he didn't like those words. He thought CM must have been drinking, which is a bit of a ha-ha, because why the hell would you challenge him to such a stipulation? And of course he's going to accept, because he can think of nothing better than whipping CM Punk. And then kind of acted like they were going to do this weird trade, because Punk was like, well, I will give you the leather strap if you give me the bracelet. And even though Drew pretended he was going to do this, he was like, I'm not going to do that. You a massive liar, CM Punk. And as soon as you do get this back, you just going to hit me with that strap. So what did I tell you? It's kind of kinky. The big line from Drew this week is when he said AJ and Larry are better off at home than me. Punk was like, how dare you say that? But it doesn't matter. Because when we come to the pay-per-view, you are going to be attached to me, literally, and I'm going to whoop your ass. So this was good, but I do have to say it was kind of a little bit long. And given some of the bars we have heard in the past, well, I don't think it lived up to that level. And also, because we have seen them fight, after about 5 minutes, I was like, why don't you just punch each other in the face? I do believe I'm ready for it. But look though, it wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, and I'm still super invested in this, especially because when we do get to Germany, who wins? I don't know. I do believe it's under the rules, but I'm not totally sure, where you have to hit all the turnbuckles in consecutive order to get the victory, so nobody's really going to get a pin here. But it still makes me stroke my beard. I'm also a huge fan that we have added sentimentality into this, because sentimentality is something that we don't often put into professional wrestling. So I am going to give it an up. But yes, if you want to get into the comparison zone, which is not a level from Sonic, I do believe both have done better. When we did get our 6-man tag, the New Day versus the Final Testament, and the New Day won. No, I'll never get mad at this because I love Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. I think Odyssey Jones is doing a great job. But I just don't know what is next for Karrion Kross's group, especially because it's a social media promo that aired after Raw, where Karen was like, maybe I'll run a truck into the New Day's house. And Scarlett was like, you just need to calm down. Everything you touch does die eventually, so let fate deal with it. And as you do have a lot of pent-up energy, why don't we go and bang? Don't get mad at me, that's what she said. There were still loads of teasers here too, so we are not done with this. Because at one point, Kofi Kingston was getting destroyed, and when he went for the hot tag, he didn't hit Xavier Woods' hand. He tagged in Odyssey Jones instead, and Xavier was clearly very upset by this. Now, he still was able to sort things out because he dropped the big old elbow onto Razor, but it was Jones who grabbed Akam, and he hit the sidewalk slam. And yeah, it was Odyssey that got the 1, 2, 3. Now Xavier seemed kind of happy after this because at least they got a victory. But does that mean the Final Testament are going to move to one side now? And if it is the case, who is Karrion going to fight? And what happens with the destruction of the New Day? I don't know. Just kind of the point, you have to tune in. Mostly though, I am totally interested to see what is going to happen. And can you believe it? I'm the biggest New Day fan in the world, and I never wanted them to split up. But WWE has gone and done it. I kind of want to see the feud. I know, somebody fire me out of a cannon. Rhea was then talking to Priest about Dominic and Liv's promo earlier, and she too must have been talking to General Akbar. She was like, listen, Clearly Liv Morgan has come up with this. It must be a trap. Now Damien didn't care. He was like, yeah, even if it is a trap, I still get to beat up Dominic for a little bit. I was like, man, you are such a cool dude. We then cut straight to Adam Pearce after this, and my hand up, I was like, Adam, do you actually have any power? Because he was basically telling the Miz, I don't want you to fight Bronson Reed, and in fact, I should suspend him. I was like, Adam, you have power, you can do this right now. However, apparently he was won over by the Miz's passion, and he said to him, why do you want to do this? And I tell you, fair play to the Miz. He cut this super promo, and the idea of it was, listen, I don't want to do this, I have to do this, because he took out my best friend and R-Truth. I don't know whether you know about this, but I don't have a lot of friends in wrestling, but I damn well will fight for the ones I do have. And I was like, Miz, you go get him. Problem though, is that he got killed. Because there was a no disqualification match, and there was kendo sticks and there was tables. And while the Miz did get a few licks in and even hit a DDT, it was mostly Bronson just murdering this guy when he picked him up and he gave him a DVD through the table. And I was like, Miz, I don't think you're gonna get up from that. And he didn't. Tsunami, uno, dos, tres. You know the deal with the Tsunami now. It's like when we want to eat pizza, we don't want one, we want at least two, because cheese on toast is amazing. But this time, when Bronson Reed was going to do it again, because he understands how well it's worked, he got interrupted by Braun Strowman, and I felt it straight away. I was like, yeah, give me that. Big men, slapping man. Now they didn't touch and instead looked at each other because this was super duper serious. And do you know what I would do if I was controlling WWE, which I'm not, by the way, in case you get confused? I would have Bronson Reed run through Braun Strowman and whoop his ass. Now look, I'm a big fan of Braun. I think he's super duper fun, but at the moment it's not his time, and it's Bronson's time, so let's get that clock ticking. So we shall have to wait and see, but we're doing it on next week's Raw. So it's getting the dance of joy, it's getting it up. When Sheamus gave us terrible medical advice, because we were being asked, what are you gonna do about your broken hand? He was like, don't worry, I'm just gonna drink a Guinness. I was like, bro, that don't work. This is when Bowser's son Ludwig walked in, because he was like, why are you interviewing this guy? I'm the main event of the evening, so everybody should be talking to me. Kaiser also promised to go back after Sheamus once he dealt with Randy Orton. Sheamus was kind of magnanimous. He was like, yeah, fine. If you want to take me on, pal, I'll punch you in the face. He also does admit, though, when it comes to their record books, they are 1 for 1, so they need a trilogy. When he said, listen, man, good luck with your match against Randy later. I'm going to laugh when he RKOs you right in the face. Bron Breakker was then here next, and I guess he had decided, I don't want to just be in a video, I want to be there live. So he was cutting a big old promo when he said that Adam Pearce knows he's trying to hold him back, but that's okay, because he's a smart dude, and it's not his fault he was born to be a genetic badass. I was like, Bron, you are the best. It also ties into the fact that our general manager has now arranged an intercontinental title tournament, and I get excited about that. I love a good tournament, especially for the intercontinental title. He then looked into the camera though and said, nobody wants to win this, by the way, because whoever does, I'm going to spear you and essentially throw you through the floor. And I looked into his eyes, man. I was like, yeah, if you are considering entering, maybe don't. I think Bron Breakker has murder in his soul. When we got to our second match, which also had no ending, but somehow WWE got away with it. That probably says more about me than it does WWE, but I think it probably comes down to who was involved. Because it was meant to be Dominic Mysterio taking on Damian Priest, and as soon as Damian walked to the ring, Carlito tried to jump him. But because he's the best babyface, Priest just turned around like he had Jedi powers or Force powers, and he smacked him one. It also means Dom is a liar and his pants are on fire because JD McDonough and Finn Balor were here. But for ages, Damian Priest just fought them off. And look, eventually the numbers game caught up to him, but not until he was left in the ring with Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley, and my gosh, did the fans lose their minds. This was doubly true because Rhea headbutted him as Damian took his head off when Rhea went and cleared Alan the announce table because she was going to give him the riptide through it. When, of course, who came out to be a pie pooper is Liv Morgan. And she had charge of the chair in order to get the assist, but also because the Judgment Day had taken their Phoenix Downs, they came back and ran wild here, which allowed Morgan to grab Ripley and throw her into the ring post. My gosh, that was some stiff stuff. The crowd was also chanting for Jey Uso here, which does make sense. Also puts my brain in a very interesting position. I had him having a reunion with Roman Reigns soon. Maybe not yet. Now I'm mad because I should have said not yeet, so I let myself down there, and Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest got hit with all the finishes, including the Frog of the Splashes, as the new Judgment Day stood there And finally, they had downed their prey. They just get such great heat, though, because they are the best bad guys, because they are taking on the best good guys. I cannot wait to see what we do at Bash at Berlin, because, of course, we're going to do the mixed tag. But this is most definitely getting it up. Just for the visual alone, they really do look very, very good. We also got a promo from them afterwards as Balor lost it here. It was like, man, that is just a taste. As Liv was like, listen, man, Dom is a real man, and he is my daddy. When he called Rhea Ripley a bitch. Bring it down, bitch counter. When we got to our women's tag team title match, you'll have to forgive me, but I'm going on my weekly rant. Because these six went out there and they totally smashed it like it's such a good match. But it actually annoyed me a little bit because I kind of felt like they had to be overly bombastic. Because when it comes to the feud itself and the stories, well, it's just like a little bit lacking compared to everything else on the show. So it just needs more. So I'm going to continue to bang my ball drum about it until it gets more, and that's a down. But otherwise, in terms of a match, this was fantastic, mostly because we have turned Damage Control babyface for some reason, and Io Sky and Kairi Sane went to the ring. They were like, ha ha, what's this? I'm not sure if it's a mistake or not, but at one point they were doing these double dives, and Kairi Sane basically turned into a theme park ride, where she did like a tilt-a-whirl on the top rope, but still took out everybody else, and it looked damn good. Again, if it was an error, how the hell did she save herself? She is something special. They also hit Alba Fire with this awesome superplex when Kai was just like, I'm going to do this really good spear. And of course, Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark are good too. I'm huge fans of theirs. But because they did come out with Sonya Deville, she was on the outside casting distraction. That's what she does. Maybe that's also what a pure fusion collective is. Somebody that like just causes interference. I do not know. Shayna then went for the Kira Fuda clutch, but Kairi just elbowed her right in the face. But this was so damn good, because Shayna went right to the top to the insane elbow. She dove right back into the Kira Fuda clutch, but during that, Isla Dawn had made the blind tag, so she hit the backstabber onto Shayna Baszler, and given the weird position they were in, Alba Fire then went to the top rope and hit this awesome senton, which essentially crushed everybody into the knees, and the champions got the 1, 2, 3. That sort of rhymed, so it must have been good. So most of this was about Damage Control, and there's probably a reason for that. And I would imagine that Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair are going to win their titles back. But while the champions didn't do much here, just that ending sequence alone, like it's what, 35 seconds? You should take time to watch it. So now, yeah, let's build characters and build stories, because we have something here. We just need to give it a little bit more, but it is getting it up. Jackie Redmond then found Jey Uso and asked him straight, what is the deal with you and Sami Zayn? I was like, I appreciate that question, I want to know. Now, Jay told us that Sami has taken some time off to find himself, which I totally understand, because he has had a bad run. But given that he is a lone boy again, he is going to enter the Intercontinental title tournament. Like, damn, I didn't see that coming. And the real reason for that is because I think Jey Uso should be the Intercontinental Champion, but I also don't think Bron Breakker should lose. So what the flub are we gonna do? I could make this totally interesting, though, and hey ho, maybe Jey Uso doesn't win the tournament because the Bloodline do get involved. No, that came out of nowhere, but seriously, Jey Uso was getting mega love on this show, and he hasn't really done anything the last few weeks. So it's absolutely the time to bring him back. Michael Cole then let us know that Pat McAfee will be going away for a while because the college football season is starting again. When we played this video, I was like, damn, Pat McAfee is dead, even though I'm looking at him on commentary right now. Of course, it was just a nice going away video, but I actually did think that was very pleasant. WWE would have never have done that in another era. I just like it when nice things are nice. When we did indeed have our good old-fashioned main event, it was Randy Orton versus Ludwig Kaiser, and I enjoyed this much. It really did have the best start too, because Ludwig chopped Randy Orton, so he threw him over to the other side of the ring, and when Kaiser tried it again, Orton just chopped him back. The rule being, do not chop Randy Orton. He was also going to suplex Ludwig Kaiser through the announce table when he saw Gunther, so he just stopped. So I tell you, never go for a walk on a cliffside with a pro wrestler, because if you slip down and you're holding on to the air, and another wrestler just so happens to be there, they will not help you, because they'll just be looking off into the distance, because sports entertainers have problems. It also allowed Ludwig to get instant revenge because he did chop the block and he went after the leg, so you know what's going to happen at the pay-per-view. At one point, Gunther is going to have the single leg Boston Crab, and we're all going to be terrified. He also made sure to absolutely smash this knee into Simba the Steel Steps when he beat up Randy for a while. When he tried it again, I was like, Ludwig, man, Bowser is going to be so disappointed in you, because of course Randy Orton had learned, and he stopped it. He was then able to throw Ludwig Kaiser into the announce table when he did it again, and he did it again. I think the only reason he stopped is because he saw Gunther for the second time. I was like, Gunther, you gotta go away. Randy can't handle it. Ludwig then booted Orton right in the face, almost in desperation, when Randy went for the RKO, but Ludwig got the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, surprise roll-up, but that was never gonna work when he spun around and Randy Orton gave him an RKO from somewhere, because he definitely saw it coming. 3. He then told Gunther to get in the ring because they were ready to fight, and they did have this big old brawl. I have no idea what happened here, but Randy went boop, and he poked Gunther right in the eye, and Raw ended. It faded to black. I was like, that could not have been the proper way. It doesn't actually matter though, because as I've already told you, these two going at it is just great. And also this World Heavyweight Championship is now starting to feel prestigious. So a massive round of applause for everyone who has put the work in, because we are now getting the just results. And I am giving this an up. Which brought us to the end of Raw, and it was one of those episodes where you can tell they were like, man, we got a show next week before we get to Berlin, but we still did what we have to do. All that Judgment Day stuff with Damian Priest and Rhea is so damn good, because they're so damn over. Now, of course, please do leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought about last night's Raw. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video for ups and downs from SmackDown to get all of my thoughts. But otherwise, my friends, I appreciate you, and I'll see you soon.